Will your child be ready for kindergarten? At Chesterbrook Academy Preschool, the answer is yes. Our curriculum offers the perfect balance of learning and play. Our teachers personalize that experience for each child through engaging activities that develop the skills they need to be ready for what comes next. Attend a Chesterbrook Academy open house on Saturday, January 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. To find a preschool near you, click the banner or visit chesterbrookacademy.com. That's chesterbrookacademy.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Sunny D. Welcome to tonight's show. It is January 17th, 2019. If you're listening right now, you're on blogtalkradio.com/GST radio show. If you guys want to call in, phone number is 657-383-1155. Shortly, Willie will be joining us. Clint is out of commission tonight, so we're going to miss him on tonight's show, but we understand why he won't be able to be on the show. So definitely call in and join this conversation. If you want to copy some merchandise, go on teespring.com/stores/GST radio. Just made some new shirts and updated the logo hoodies. So if you saw them before, you'll see they're pretty similar, but there's a slight difference. You probably won't notice it as much, but definitely if you cop some merch, put it up on our Instagram or our Facebook page and let us know, or on our Twitter and let us know that you're rocking our gear, that you support what we're doing with this podcast thing. So definitely do that. What was I about to say? Oh yeah. If you also, if you want to chime in, you can go on our Twitter at GST_radio, and we'll definitely share your comments on the air throughout the podcast tonight. Tonight's topic is pretty much about dreams, night terrors, and deja vu. I know most of you guys have had some weird dreams that you either remember, because most people I talk to don't remember their dreams. I'm one of them people that remember, for the most part, my dreams. If it's something weird, I kind of research it to see what it means. Go to the website that I always go to called Dream Moves, that I go to kind of see if I have like a weird dream or something and that dream sticks out to me. I want to, like, if this holds true in my mind, I have to go and look at it to see if there's something. I know a lot of people don't believe in that, but some people do. I want to see, like, why did I dream that, and how does it pertain to me? So I definitely do that. But I was talking to the fellas after we closed last week's podcast. You know, we had a really good, interesting topic last week. And I just put it to him. I said, look, I don't know if this can make a show, but I definitely think it'll be a dope topic to talk about, because I know we all have these dreams that, like, kind of get to us and, like, stick to us. Or we had a dream that seemed so real. When we wake up, it's just like that shit was real, but it really wasn't. But it just seemed like it was like you were like awake doing it. Or I actually had a dream for years that actually came true. So it was, like, really weird. That kind of scared me. You know, I tell people about it, they like a little weirded out by it, because it's like it was so real to me. And when it finally came to life, it was just like walking through this thing, and it's like, wow, like this is like I knew what to do in this dream. It was really, really weird. But we're going to be sharing those types of stories with you guys tonight. Again, the number is 657-383-1155. So I'm going to briefly go through one of the dreams that I had, that I shared with the guys, the one I was telling you guys about just a couple minutes ago. So I had this dream that I was in this place, and, like, walking through this place, it just looked like I had to go somewhere. And I was walking up these stairs into this big grand room, and on to my right, it was like a desk with a red phone, and I, like, followed it through this corridor, and at the first door on the right, like a double door, I opened it, and I walked back, and it was some type of curtain or sheet or something, because I don't think it was a curtain or sheet, but it was something that I had to go into, and there was somebody that I knew on the other side, and I don't know why, like, I never saw who it was, so I didn't, like, really know who it was in the dream. And I was having this dream for, like, months, like almost I would say more than 6 months, close to a year. So fast forward to my cousin's dad was like, hey, girls, you guys want to go on a road trip with me up to New Brunswick? So we went, and we're going to see his brother in the hospital. So we go, right, and we get in the parking garage, and as we get in the parking garage and we come up these steps, I'm like losing my mind because this is the dream I've been having, like down to the room, how it looked like, because I can remember exactly how it looked, like clear, crystal clear in the dream. So, mind you, I never met his brother a day in my life. I've never been to his hospital a day in my life. So now I'm in there, and I'm like walking up, and I'm looking like I've lost my mind. And I'm looking, and before he can tell me where to go, I'm like following my dream. And I go down this corridor, I pass this desk and this red phone, and then I go to the first door on the left. I go through, and it's this curtain area. And I go to the curtain, and I pull the curtain back. And my cousin's dad is like, how did you know where my brother was? And I just looked at him, and I walked out because I freaked out because I didn't know, like, what type of, like why I would have that type of situation going on, because it was something different. So that kind of threw me off. It threw him off. My cousin was looking like I was crazy. But, like, to me, that was a very real dream, and, like, it was so real to me because I've been having it for almost a year, and now this dream has now came true, and it kind of threw me off. But hold on, guys, we got a caller, so I'm going to get them in. Caller, you on the line with GFT Radio.
Hello, is that me?
Hello?
I don't know if are you talking to me? I don't know. I was listening to
Yes, you're the caller.
Yeah, I was just listening. I came across your show related to dreams and things.
Uh-huh.
And I actually do daydreaming and create opportunities that are transformative to help people globally.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a divine gift. I have what I term creative utilization of information, and that's been able to see me through some pretty interesting life experiences by standing in truth and light and exposing those that have to be exposed when they do the wrong thing.
As far as like regular dreams?
Well, I'm a former whistleblower. There's a front page Wall Street Journal article I was written up in, which triggered an investigation that eventually led to the resignation of the Speaker of the House in shame, Jim Wright, back in the 80s, the third highest office in the country. The article also beautifully described back then how special interests and lobbyists have totally corrupted Washington. It was before Ross Perot talked about it, but due to apathy and people not knowing what to do or how to do it, that's why we're in the state we're in now.
Oh, wow. So all that was from a dream?
It can change if people will get more creative and do some daydreaming as well as thinking about the dreams that they had and looking at the synchronicities in life. We all have synchronicities. People dismiss them too much as a coincidence, but if you pay attention to them, more will come, and it can be very revealing.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can share my name if you want. I've been a guest on many shows, and also you'll see some very interesting documents to back up things that I talk about too.
What's your name?
Well, I'll give you 3 words. That's the best way to pull up this website. My last name is Traulsen. It's spelled T like Tom, Raulsen like Nancy. Then put the word and, A-N-D, and then Trump, Trump. It will bring you to a page on a big website rooting out corruption.weebly.com. I actually share common background with President Trump, but I'm certainly not into the ego like he is. And you'll see my last name has global recognition and some interesting text and documents on that page. Then in the menu, be sure to look over all the other pages on the website for other interesting documents, information, and interviews. On the home page, there's a blog, creativity777.com, which has a poem I authored and dedicated to my Earth Angel wife. It's in the President Ronald Reagan Library. The poem also was commented on by Maya Angelou.
Okay. I'll definitely check that out.
Yes. That's, again, we all have creativity, and that, again, is a form of dreaming when we think and imagine things. And the field is so hot right now. It's quantum physics tying in with DNA and spirituality and everything. So it's a time to be reflective and thinking about, who's controlling you, or are you getting into your higher self and looking to learn things that will not only help yourself but be a blessing to others, because when you are a blessing to others, that's actually a blessing back to you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling in tonight.
All right, I was just listening. I'll let you continue on with the show, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say hello.
No, not a problem. Thank you for calling.
All right.
All right, good night. Yes, I'll definitely check that out. That sounds interesting. But I know Clint was sharing about a dream that he had. I think he called it a night terror. And I wish he was able to join the show tonight, but I guess I'm going to try to tell it as best I can. And if I'm wrong, he'll correct me. Absolutely, he will. It was something about him having a dream, and someone was on his porch or rattled his door, and just his reaction to it, and it seemed so real to him that it was like one of those dreams that, like you said, like I said earlier, that you have, that it seems like so realistic that you really think that it's so real, then it's not a dream. And looking back on it, like, was it, and it has you even question it to this day, was it a dream? Was it something that really happened? Or was it your mind playing tricks on you or something like that? Or like a night terror, something that you fear is going to happen, and then it actually, like it happens in a dream. So those types of things. But another dream I had, and I share with the guys, is weird, because I always have like weird, random dreams. So I had a dream, and I laughed because my daughter Goddad can tell you, he probably thinks I'm weird. But when my daughter was smaller, she was a baby. Her Goddad, me, were like really cool, whatever. And he's like a year or two under me. But I had, by this time I had my daughter, I was probably 19 going into the age of 20. And I had a dream that I was sitting on my grandmother's porch, actually not on my grandmother's porch, but across the street from my grandma's house, sitting out with cousins and friends and things like that. And we were all hanging out and stuff like that. And in the dream, he pulls up in a car. But in the dream, I'm my kid self. I'm like my teenage self. Like, I'm not even a teenager. I'm probably like in middle school, sitting on this porch with my cousins, just hanging out, doing what we normally do at grandma's house. So he pulls up, but he's an adult, and he's talking to me. And I'm like, whose car do you have? And he's like, I forget what he says to me. And I said, oh, to him. And we smiled. We had like light conversation. And then in the middle of him talking to me, I forget what he was saying to me. He stopped and he said, get, and he said my daughter's name, off the, get Daria off, before she falls off the bed. And I looked at him crazy because in the dream, I didn't have a kid. I was a kid myself. But for whatever reason, I understood what he was saying to me. And in the dream, I looked over on the side of the porch, and then I woke up out of my sleep. And when I woke up out of my sleep, my daughter was falling off the bed. Now, the way my bed was, it was like a nightstand, my bed, and another nightstand. But next to that nightstand was this wall. So if she had if she had fell off the bed, she would have either hit the nightstand or hit the wall. And it was like the side of the house wall, like that sturdy wall. So she would have hurt herself. So I thought it was weird that, like, and in my mind, I was just talking to him. So, because how would I know to get her before she fell off the bed? Like, I felt like I was on the phone with him or something. So I'm all freaking out and thinking it's crazy. So I call him and I say, hey, was I just talking to you? And he's like, why? And I was like, because. And I told him the dream, and he laughed at me. He said, that's probably why I'm her goddad. And I was like, no, because if she would have fell, she really would have, like her. So she's a baby. So, falling and hitting the hard wall or hitting the hard nightstand, that's an issue. It's probably a trip to the hospital or something like that. So it was weird that happened. enough that he could save me from, or save her from that happening. So I thought that was really, really weird. But that was like a dream that I had. Trying to think of another one. Definitely, oh yeah, I'm giving out the number 657-383-1155. Any dreams that you had that you can remember that kind of threw you for a loop, or a night terror or deja vu, things like that. So one time I had this dream that I was in the shower and then all my hair fell out. So it was really crazy. So that one I looked up. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the site Dream Moods. I think it's Dream Moods. I'm about to type it in now. I always look on that one. It's Dream Moods. It's like official dream site. You can kind of look up all different types of dreams you have. Like I said, if something sticks out to you, you can always look, like just look and see what kind of dreams you had. So in this one, I'm looking it up right now because I feel like I should do it as we're on the show. It's a bunch of different meanings. So when you look up the word, because for me what stuck out most was that my hair came out. So so when I looked it up, this is a while back though. It says to dream that you're losing your hair, denotes that you are concerned with the notion that you are getting older and losing your sex appeal or virility. You are preoccupied with aging and your appearance, and you're losing your hair is also significant to lack of strength, and you do not have the power to succeed in any undertaking, and you may feel weak or vulnerable. So for me, what resonated for me at that time was me feeling like no power and feeling weak and vulnerable because I was at a stage in my life where I was going through a lot of stuff, and when that happened, it kind of like, okay, that resonates with what's happening with me right now. So that definitely was rang true for me. And I want to say this, I'm not one of the people that take what I read as the solid gold or anything like that. Like I'm not gonna, like I want to go to like a psychic, let you tell me my horoscope or whatever's going to happen to me, and it's like the gospel or anything. But like I always like to look at it because when you think about dreams are like your subconscious dealing with different things that's going on with you. So you may subconsciously be dealing with or suppressing stress or, going through something in your life, and you're not outwardly expressing how you feel. You're not outwardly releasing that venting or stuff like that. So when you have these dreams, it's like that your subconscious is trying to deal with your problems. And I say that like for all y'all that know, my son is autistic. He has night terrors. So, and because he's nonverbal, well, not nonverbal now, but he doesn't talk. He still hasn't got the verbiage or the language down as any 5-year-old would do normally. 5-year-olds talk your ear off about what their day was, how they had it. Like if you talk to you want to tell them to be quiet. Well, my son hasn't got there yet. I can't wait till it happens, but he hasn't got there yet. So because he can't vocally express himself, he has a lot of night terrors. And the doctor, like to the point where he's waking up screaming out of his sleep. He's restless. Like he's screaming and hollering and so upset, but he's not awake. He's just upset. So you just kind of like have to like get him together, calm him down, like soothe him until he goes like back into that calming sleep. So I had talked to the doctor and the neurologist, and they were like, it could be something as simple as he doesn't like a cup that he had during the day. So because he couldn't verbalize it and no one was able to understand what he was saying, he internalized it, and now subconsciously while he's sleeping, his mind is like working through it, and he's like going through it in his dreams. So it could be something like, because most kids that are autistic has OCD or some type of Asperger's or something like that, so they like things particular. So when something doesn't go the way that they normally have it go, then all of a sudden like they can't function, they can't rationalize it, so like they internalize it, and then that could lead to a night terror. So it's very real, but and some of us have that. Like we have nightmares where we working through something and we can't sleep, and when we do sleep, it's like horror. Like horror, like it's like a bunch of stuff. So you're like restless, you're fighting in your sleep, you're upset, you're crying, you're going through all those emotions because you haven't really dealt with what you need to deal with in your waking life, or your waking state. Like when you're awake and alert, you haven't dealt with it, so you're internalizing. So now your subconscious is kind of dealing with it. So those types of things. But then you get people that don't dream. So they, and it's weird. I think that's weird, but I guess not everybody dreams. And I thought everybody did, but not everybody does. So to me, that kind of threw me for a loop. But I'm aware that not everybody dreams now. I have friends that I talk to about my dreams, and they're like, oh, I don't dream. I'm like, oh, what? What do you mean? Like, who are you? But as well as not everybody dreams, but those types of things, you know, that happen. I can get back to another dream. I got so many dreams. This whole show, if Willie don't join me, I could just go on all night and tell y'all different dreams that I had. But I had this dream. I'm going to give y'all two different dreams that kind of freaked me out. So the one dream was about my former best friend's grandmother. Her grandmother, I met her grandma when we were in high school. Her grandma was like, you know, that grandma's grandma, like, you know, they yell at you when you break something, like they got that room in the house that you can't sit in, you know, the plastic furniture, like she'll cuss you out. Like one day I finally stepped in her house and she was more mad that I almost knocked the thing off the wall on the staircase than whether or not it was okay. Like that type of grandma. But she always wanted the best for you, you know, some type like her. So when we go to the house, she'd be yelling at us about something, like, you know, but be happy that we doing something nice besides being, you know, nobodies and stuff. Like we, you know, we had kids early. She fussed at us about that, but she was glad that we was like good parents and doing what we supposed to do as, you know, like taking our responsibility. So she passed a few years ago, and of course I went to the funeral because she was like my grandma. So I went to her funeral, and me and my best friend we were not speaking anymore at this point. Me and my former best friend were not speaking at this point. This is when we really broke that friendship thing, and it was crazy because I was talking to her uncle, I was talking to everybody at the funeral, and they was like, yeah, you know, glad you came, blah, blah. I said I would not come because that's like my grandma. So fast forward to maybe a week or two after she passed, I had this dream that I'm at her house in her den. She got her, she had that breathing machine and stuff, and she'd sit there and she, you know, busting this out. You really, you know, you couldn't really hug her too much. You couldn't really get her decided because it would cause an issue. So we were just sitting there just talking, and like I'm talking about, this is the first time I really, like I had talked to her before in like while she was alive, but not to this magnitude. Like, you know, we talked like, hey, you know, how was that? I miss you, hugs, you know, stuff like that, whatever, but not like an in-depth conversation other than her yelling at us about, you know, getting our shit together. So this was like me and her having like this real relaxed conversation. So while we were having this conversation, she was asking me why me and that my former best friend aren't friends anymore. Y'all need to work it out, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And in the dream, she's holding this baby, right? She's holding this little baby. I don't know if it's a boy, I don't know if it's a girl, but I remember the onesie the baby had on. I remember the outfit that the baby had on or whatever. So she's talking to me, and it's that and the third. And in the midst of her talking to me, I'm just looking at her. And she's just talking and telling me, you know, you need to get your life, you know, I'm glad that you're doing this, this, and this, that. You think I wasn't paying attention? And, you know, we just having this conversation. And it's like, you know, what happened with your grandma. So we just chopping it up and everything. And then in the midst of her talking to me, I just looked at her and I stopped. And I kind of like, I looked at her like this admiring look, and I said to her, and I said, you took care of everybody's kids while you were alive, and look at you, you still doing it. I said, you can't just take time for yourself, like, and enjoy, you know, the afterlife or whatever. And she smiled at me and she laughed. And in my mind, because, you know, I don't know if y'all know, but I had a brother that died when he was a baby. So in my mind, somehow I'm thinking this is my brother. But it was just weird. So I was like, it can't be my brother because she wouldn't know nothing like that. It's just weird. So maybe 2 weeks after that, I finally, something on my heart was like, post it on Facebook, right? Just post it on, post it on Facebook. So I posted on Facebook, and I just put it out there. And her family reached out to me, and I was talking to them, and I think the post I did explain either I put the outfit on, or I either showed the outfit, or kind of like gave them an idea what the outfit looked like. And when I did that, it was like, they were like, that's one of her kids that passed. And I was like, what? Because there's no way I would know that. So she's, and her niece, like, I think it was her granddaughter, she was talking to me, and she was like, wow, that's crazy. Out of all people, she would come and talk to you. And, like, they were, like, so, you know, like, surprised. And I was, too, because I'm like, out of all the people she could have with, because I'm visiting in a dream, it had to be me, like, why? And it was like, that's how we know it's real. And basically, it was like one of their family members that had passed when it was, I think it was a child or something. And it kind of hit home for them. And I was just like, I really will want to know why would she come to me and having me send it to you. I said because I wasn't even going to post it on Facebook, but it was like so heavy on me that I shared it, and I thought it was interesting. So like I thought for whatever reason I just had to share it, and I did, and I'm actually glad I did because it gave them that closure or whatever, like it made them feel good or whatever it was that they needed. I was happy to oblige them, and then on top of that, I had confirmation that I wasn't making it up, and there's no way I would know that. So it's not like I just made it up out of nowhere. There's no way I would know that she had a child that passed before I met her or when it was a baby. There's no way. So that I'm glad it touched them and helped them in whatever way it did. But those type of dreams always get me like, wow, that's interesting. And now I just told y'all about my brother that passed when he was a baby. He died of fit. So I had a dream that we were at a Y family. My dad, which is weird because he spent most of my life in jail, but in this dream I was a kid. I was a baby in this dream sitting on my mom's lap. For that reason, my brother was swimming in the pool with my dad. My brother was a couple years older than me, the one that's living. Me and him are a year apart, but in the dream he's a couple years older than me. Now, I don't know why I'm a baby in this dream, but I am sitting on my mom's lap. And the brother that would have been still living, he was much older. And my older sister, she was around the age that she should have been a little bit like a year or two older than him. The older brother that didn't make it past baby age. So they're all in the pool swimming, everybody's playing, and I'm sitting on my mom's lap. And somehow in the dream, which is weird as hell, and I don't know why it happened in the dream, but the brother that passed when he was a baby started drowning in the pool. And some reason nobody could save him. And as a baby, I'm sitting on my mom's lap, and I said, and like I'm thinking to myself, wow, he wasn't going to make it either way. And it's weird to think that, but for that reason, it was like, wow. Like maybe he was always meant to be an angel and not be here with us. And even though I always wondered how it would be to have another brother, it was just a weird feeling for me. And I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why I felt that way, but I just was like, wow. And just watching the panic and everybody trying to save him, but for whatever reason, nobody could. And my mom was just holding me and crying. So it was just really, really different. And so that was weird. And then the dream I had about my mom after she had passed, because my mom, when I had my son, my mom had like this strong attachment to my son. I don't know if it reminded her of the brother that passed or not, but she had a real attachment to him. Like she would call me and ask for just him. I'm like, Mom, you got other grandkids in my house too. Like you don't, okay, so you just want him? Okay. But, I understood that. So, and I didn't really bother her. I said it to her at one point, and she didn't really respond. So I was just like, because I asked her about it, and she didn't really respond. So I just let her be great and be in love with her grandson. So she was like that with my nephew too. So it was just with the boys. So, it was like her getting a second chance, I guess, or a second and third chance. So she had, she was in a dream. My mom had walked me through the process of her losing her son. So when my mom, like back in that day, SIDS wasn't a commonly known situation for babies. Like they always thought that the parents did something to the kids. So a lot of those parents got charged with murdering their babies and stuff like that. So my mom went through that. She went through getting locked up because they thought that she had did something to her baby. She went through a court proceeding, ended up being found not guilty and realizing it was SIDS. But to lose I was in the dream, she walked me through that whole process. And when I'm telling you, I felt everything that my mom felt. It was so real to me. And I remember waking up from that dream, and I was like, and I said it. I think I said it out loud when I woke up, and I said, wow, Mom, I'm sorry you went through that. Even though she wasn't physically here for me to say that to her, because my mom didn't really talk about it. It was like a hush thing. She talked about it here and there, but we really couldn't get the information from it. So it made me want to look up my brother and look up all the stuff and everything, and I was able to find some stuff, but it was just like to be able to walk through that process and understand my mom's hurt. It was really weird for me, but I felt like at that point I understood why she was so bonded with my nephew and my son. So as much as it hurt her, it probably was a reminder, but it was just like, it was really good to kind of get to know I get to see my mom in the light, and not get to see, just get to see how she felt about that, and like understand how she felt, because you know how you go through things and nobody understands. It was like she was walking me through it to understand what was going on with her. So that definitely was another like memorable, weird dream that kind of was like really different for me, but it was something that I those type of dreams, like most of my dreams I don't ever forget, but those dreams like are like a blessing for me to kind of understand something that I would probably never understand currently in my life, but to get to experience that in a dream is like amazing to me. So I was really glad to understand how she felt. Hold on, guys. You got to call her. Caller, you on the line?
Hey.
Hey, Clint. How are you doing?
Well, you know, I already know the story. I'm all right, though.
All right. Well, you got to take care of yourself, so.
Yeah. So where we at with it? What y'all talking about?
Oh, no, I was just sharing some of the dreams that I had. Like some of the dreams that I had that was like of people that had passed.
Okay.
So I tried to talk about yours, but I don't remember all of it, so.
Yeah, I had quite a few. You know, mine's, I remember during a free show, when we came up with this show, we were talking about, you know, y'all talking about deja vu and, you know, having dreams that seem real, and then you see them in real life. And I was saying I really didn't never experience that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have had dreams to where, like, I don't know if it's to this day that it was so real that they, you know, I really don't know if it's a dream or not. You know what I mean? Like, it was, because I can't verify it. You know, certain dreams like you just can't verify it. But it was so, they were so vivid and so real that, like, to this day I still question, did they really happen? You know, I had quite a few of those, and excuse me. And as far as what you was talking about was like, I was having, you know, I have night terrors, and I have them consistently, and it's mainly when I fall asleep on my back. So, yeah. So there's been a couple occasions where, you know, I was telling you about one about when I fell asleep downstairs in my house. You know, I'm a licensed gun owner. I want to state that before I tell this story. I'm a legal licensed gun owner. You feel me? Everybody just think I'm just, he want to talk about guns. No. So I was downstairs and I was cleaning my gun, you know, and it was just me at home, just me. And I ended up falling asleep. And, you know, it was at night. But in the middle of the night, you know, I hear my eyes open because I hear the doorknob jiggling, like somebody's trying to get in my house. But, you know, when people out there, you know, when you have night terrors, like you had sleep and you had woke, but you can't move your body. You feel me? You know, you're not moving. So it's like I couldn't move. And I'm like, you know, I couldn't move. So it was like, all right, when I'm in the dream, I must be having a night terror. But then, like, the front porch light came on. And, like, you could see a shadow through the blinds and the curtain. And then the doorknob started wiggling again. So now I'm getting nervous, and I'm trying to reach and grab my gun. I'm trying to get up. I can't get up. I'm forcing my body to get up. And I end up getting up. You know, I end up getting up. And I'm like, who that? And I get up and I run to the door, and I swing open the door, and nobody's at the door. Nobody's at the door. You know, nobody's outside. So, like at the time, like I was saying, my mom lived next door, and she had a driveway. So I run off my porch, and I look in the driveway. There's nobody in the driveway. There's nobody across the street. There's nobody down the street. So I'm like, damn, what happened? Was I dreaming? You know what I mean? Like, because you know, that's how night terrors happen. And then the thing that bugged me out the worst was still getting to this day, because I told my boys the story the next day. I was like, but the front light was still on. And my light only come on when somebody walk past my house or come on my porch.
Yeah.
So, you know, now, like I said, it could be a coincidence. Somebody literally could have just been walking by at the same time I was having this night terror. You know, and sometimes, you know, one time I had the same, I was in my room. I fell asleep on my back. And it felt like somebody broke in my house, and I could hear them running up the steps. So, like I said, you could see what's going on. Like, you have woke. So it's like I'm trying to get up. I'm trying to get to where my gun is. I'm trying to move, but I can't move. And then, like, in the corner of my room, I see a shadow. So now I realize, oh, this is a dream. Like, this isn't real. This is a dream, because the shadow looked like a lady, and then it looked like she was sitting on the edge of my bed. I'm trying to kick her with my right foot to kick her off my bed, but you know I could barely move my leg and my foot.
Oh, yeah.
But it was scaring me, because she was sitting on the bed. Like I said, it was just a shadow, and then she started reaching. She started reaching for me. And, like, I was getting scared, like, oh. You know what I mean? And then I end up, like, you know, I woke up and I popped up. Nothing there, nothing. I was sweating. I was like, yo, like, that felt crazy. Because it really felt like it was a woman's shadow, and she was just sitting there. She was just staring at me. First, she was in the corner of the room. Then she sat on the bed, and it's like she was reaching for me. And I'm like, I couldn't move. I'm trying to kick her off the bed, and then I just pop up. And when I popped up, everything just, you know, now I'm fully woke. And I realized, man, I was dreaming. You know what I mean? But that's the night terrors is real. Night terrors is scary. I had a lot more.
I've not had those. Like I was telling them, I was saying earlier, my son has them. And I had talked to the doctor because it was, like, frequent early when he earlier got diagnosed with autism. And it was, like, because he couldn't verbalize stuff that he was dealing with. It was like a subconsciousness going on with him in his sleep. So he would, like, be going through this thing. So he would wake up in a whole screaming fit, but not really be awake, trying to run off the bed, just trying to, like upset, like in a full-blown panic. And they told me the only thing I could do is try to calm him, because he's not really awake. And it was weird because, like, I'm talking about, like, a blood-curdling scream, like, not like a I'm upset scream, like I'm, no, it was like I was in cold sleep and woke up on my feet, like, what the, and then I'm, like, half dead trying to function to calm him down. So it's very real. I remember my stepdad, he had, I don't know if it was a night terror or not, but one day, all we heard was him, like, he's like a heavy snorer. He got sleep issues. But he woke up one night, well, not even woke up. He wasn't awake when he did. He woke up and went to this whole fit, but he wasn't woke the whole time. Like, cussing, arguing, like, almost fighting, and was not awake. That is a very real thing, and it's like, like I said, when people dream and, like, those types of dreams like that, it's always, from what the doctors always tell me about, like, it's like a subconscious thing that they're not dealing with whatever it is going on in their life, so they're, like, in their subconscious in their dream, they're kind of, it's working through it, and it's working through it in, like, the most hostile manner sometimes.
Yeah, I had those type of dreams as well, to where, you know.
That's how you get people that sleepwalk and all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm in one time, I was in a relationship, and I'm sleeping, you know, she wasn't asleep, but you know how sometimes you can hear somebody walking in the room and just walking by, And I guess I must have heard her walking by, but in my dream, it was like an intruder in the room. And she tried to get on, and when she got on the bed, like my reflexes, I didn't even, my reflexes went and I like almost grabbed, like reached for her neck. I jumped up immediately because I thought it was somebody attacking me.
Yeah.
And I grabbed her like almost by her neck. And when I realized it was like she was scared, I was scared. And I just popped up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. She was like, what are you dreaming about? I thought you was somebody trying to, that broke in the room. She was like, and sneak on the bed and lie next to. I was like, I thought you was attacking me. Exactly. I thought you was attacking me. I always have vivid dreams. Like my mom, that's why, if she knew I called in, she would have called in. But she'll tell you this story about when I was little. I used to go to this camp. We used to call it Camp Meter. They used to teach us how to swim. Like I didn't know how to swim. So how they teach you how to swim is you hold on to like the edge of the pool, and you lay out. You kick your feet. You feel me? First they tell you to kick your feet. And, you got to pull all these kids lined up all around the pool, and we in the pool. We just kicking our feet, holding on to the edge of the pool, and then they tell you like, now you move your arms, and they show you. They walking around showing us how you move your arms, but you just still holding on to the wall. So. I guess it was so fresh in my mind, and we did it like you do it for like a week. It was so fresh in my mind, I was asleep. She put me to sleep. I'm probably like 7, 8 or whatever. So she was like, she heard this noise. She downstairs, so she heard this noise. And I was living with my great grandma. She come up. She's like, she walk up the steps. And she look in the room, and I'm full-fledged swimming in the bed. Like I'm like, you feel me? Like, and she looking at me. Yeah, she was like, first she was confused because she was like, she woke, but my eyes was closed shut, but I was full-fledged swimming. All motion, kicking the bed hard, moving my arms. And she was like, she ran back downstairs, and she just got my grandma. She was like, yo, I don't know what's going on. Look at him. And grandma came. They looking at me. It's like, he's swimming. He's dreaming. You know what I mean? And then I just stopped. Like, I just stopped, and I just curled back up and continued to go on sleeping.
That's too funny.
Like, she was scared to death. She thought I was possessed. She was like, that's why she ran and got my grandma. Cause she was like, yo, I think he possessed, something wrong with him. Grandma came and was like, that boy's swimming. And I just stopped and I just went right to sleep. You know what I mean? Like my dreams be vivid. I argue. Do you talk in your dreams, like out loud?
For me?
Yeah.
No, but my daughter did one day. I got so mad at her because she was I forget what she was doing. Like I was in my room and I kept hearing her talk, and she was like, "Mom," and I'm like, "What?" And she like, cause she kept like the way she was calling me, it was like she was in a panic. So I'm getting up because I'm like, I'm asleep and I hear her. So I go and see like why does she keep calling me? So I'm like, what is she not responding to me? But she started saying, "Mom, Mom, Mom, Mom," and I'm like, what? And I finally get up and I go into her room. And I'm, like, mad as hell because she done said my name about 6, 7 times. And, like, I'm talking about loud. And I'm steady saying what? And I'm like, I don't want to get out of my bed because I just woke up. And I get up, I go in her room. She is knocked out. And I just looked at her. Because, like, by then, I yelled at her and everything. She was full-blown asleep. And the next morning, I said, Zaria. She was like, what? I said, what the hell you calling for last night? I wasn't calling you. I said, oh, yes, you were. She said, no, I wasn't, but she don't even remember that she was. I thought that was like weird because I'm like, she was really calling me, and she don't remember it at all.
Oh, wow. That's happened to me too. I've had conversations with people. People have told me like I've had conversations with them, and like they're asking me questions, I'm answering them. You feel me? And like full blown back and forth that I have no clue about. I'm like, yo, I thought I was dreaming. I didn't think that was real. Like I've had those, you know. I've had those plenty of times. You know what I mean? Not just, you know, talking in my sleep, but having full-blown conversations. I mean, like,
okay.
I remember it happened with my dad before. He came.
No,
I guess he.
I don't know. I've always been like a really quiet sleeper, so I've never had those types of things happen. I like sleep quietly. All my mom kids, so I've never had that issue. Hold on 1 second. We got a caller. I'm gonna get them in. Caller, you on the line with GFT Radio.
Yes, good evening. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hello, can you hear me?
No problem.
Hello? Okay.
Caller?
Yep.
What's your name?
My name's David.
Hi, David. You want to add into the conversation?
Yeah, you guys are in the middle of talking about something. I didn't want to interrupt what you were doing. Were you guys sort of openly, like, talking about, you know, dreams or visions or, like, spiritual encounters or things like that?
Yeah, we're talking about different dreams. Like, we had, have you ever had any, like nightmares, deja vu, and things like that?
Okay.
Or, like, dreams that were, like, memorable to you that seemed really real?
Okay.
Do you have like visions and stuff like that in your dreams? Do you experience anything of that sort? You brought that up.
Yeah, I've seen, if you will, the two different sides, right? Like, I've had encounters with the Lord that were like pretty amazing. Then I've had, you know, the night terrors with like demons attacking me, coming in the room, like, you know, sleep paralysis. Some of the most insane nightmarish type dreams. So I've seen both, the whole spectrum of the thing, you know, both sides.
Yeah. That's basically, I keep saying night terrors, but that sleep paralysis, that's basically what I've experienced, to where like you just can't move. You can't move, and you know, I know a lot of people. I was reading online, and it was saying like, they usually see what I seen as like a woman in a shadow. And you know what I mean? Sometimes she sit on the bed, or sometimes she stand next to the bed. And I read a lot of people experience that same exact thing. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it looks like it's like a shadow being. It's like they're like they're not like flesh and blood like us, but it's like they're made out of this black smoke. Like they're like I don't know how to describe it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah, those are a special type of demons. And like if you and people who've encountered them probably know this too. They oftentimes shake, like they'll like vibrate. You know what I'm talking? So you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
I know 100% what you're talking about, bro. That's exactly what I experienced, and I only experienced, like I was telling her earlier, is when I fall asleep on my back.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And then like you'll feel like, because you can tell when they enter the room, you get that overwhelming sense of fear. You know, like you can sense that presence when they enter the room. And like you said, it's to your point, like especially when you're laying down on your back, and then oftentimes right after that comes the sleep paralysis, and where you can't move at all, even though you're fully awake. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. That's a really scary moment.
Yeah. Now I tell me, if like she said, she don't. I'm so glad you called. because most people don't, like, they can't fathom that unless they experience. That's their experience.
Yes, like I've heard people say it, but like I've never personally, like, all my dreams are like it's something that really sticks out to me. I've had dreams about people that passed and the conversation we had, or some type of experience that I experienced with them, and then when I relate it to people, it's like they like I said, I had a dream about a friend's grandma, and when I related to the family, they knew what I was talking about. I had no idea what I was talking about, but I just shared with them what happened in the dream, and they were looking like I was crazy because they didn't understand why I got that dream. So, like, I have those kind of, I have one of my friends said it like this. They feel like I have like the gift of foresight to kind of see stuff before it happens, or have that visitors come visit me and explain something to me that they can't explain to the living, or because they're already gone. So I won't say that, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm psychic, right? Like, I'm none of those things, but, like, I just have those dreams where, like I said, the one dream I had about my mom and the experience that she experienced in life, and she shared it, like, basically in the dream, she shared that experience with me, so I was able to understand and feel her pain during that, like, that rough time in her life that I would never have understood. Like, she didn't really talk about it. She didn't really explain it to us. Like, it was, like, kind of hushed. We got, like, brief bits and pieces, but not the whole story. Like, but when she visited me after she passed, that was the, like, I basically walked through her life as her, but I was able to see it happen, if that makes any sense. And I was able to feel everything that she felt, and then understand why she felt the way she felt, why she got depressed during the holiday. Like, she lost my brother when he was a baby to SIDS. She lost him in November, like right before Thanksgiving, like in that Christmas time thing. And she always gets depressed and stuff. So now I was able to understand why she was like that, and I was able to understand why she was so attached to my son and my nephew. And it was like, I sat there and I was like, wow, thanks, Mom, for sharing that with me, because I never would have understood. Like, I get those kind of dreams. Or I have, like, dreams about stuff that's going on in my life, like it's like a symbol that is something that's happening in my life. But I've never, at least knock on wood, so far, I have not had one of the dreams you guys are talking about.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I was raised as Christian.
Okay, because like the Bible talks about what you're talking about. It's like some people, it describes it as gifts of the Spirit, and it's called having the gift of the word of knowledge. And like it describes how in the Bible, like the people who are able to like meet somebody and have an insight about stuff that happened to them in their past, or things that are going to happen to them, and like the gift is there to like be able to speak to that person to tell them what's going to happen, or let them know what they did go through in a way of sort of relating to them. You know, like the intention behind it is that if that person went through something difficult, like to let them know that God knows it and that God is speaking to you, to let them know that He cares, that He knows what happened, and that He wants to help them or to warn them about something that's coming in the future. So I don't know if you've ever
Yeah,
read
but most often than not, it's people that already passed.
Well, if it's people
like
that already
people
passed,
that,
you got to be careful about that, because those could actually be demons posing as your relatives. Because demons do that a lot. And I don't know if you've ever heard about people who've had near-death experiences, who passed on and.
I've definitely I've had quite a few. So, like I died when I had my daughter. Like I flatlined when I had my daughter. I had a seizure in my sleep. I slept for 3 whole days. And they said if my mom didn't wake me up, when my mom didn't wake me up when she did, I could have died. Like I had those experiences where, like, you know, I could have lost my life. But I don't know. I never really looked at it like that. It was just that I've always been like, even being awake. Like I've had situations where, at one point I got in my daughter's dad's car. One day we were getting ready to go to Walmart and we were arguing about something. And I got in his car, and while I'm sitting in his car waiting for him to come out, in the reflection of the windshield, the car is on fire. And I'm like, okay, and I'm looking like, because it's like, to me, like, it's very real, right? So I basically panic and get my daughter out of her car seat and get out the car, and he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm not going in your car. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I'm just not about to do it. Like, I don't need to go to Walmart that bad. And he's like arguing because he thinks I'm just acting like being extra like most guys would, and then come to find out, the next day he went to go to work and his car wouldn't start, and the guy told him, he took it to, like, the mechanic came and looked at it, and they said if you started your car, it would have caught on fire. And he looked, and then he looked at me like, what? And I was like, see, this is why I didn't get in it. But like, I have stuff like that, but I'm awake.
I want to ask the brother a question. He's still on the line?
Yeah, he's still on the line.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. In all actuality, like right now, I'm literally in the hospital. In the hospital bed. Now my dad died. About yesterday was the day he died. 13 years ago. Now, a couple weeks ago, I had a dream. And, I was younger. It was like I was trying to rest on it or something. Like, rest my leg, do something on it. And it's like, in the dream, he got mad at me. He kicked me off and like, man, are you always trying to rest, get up? Do something. Like, stop being lazy, blah, blah, blah. And, we was at his house at the time. So I got mad. He was still yelling at me, whatever. So, and I'm dreaming. This is a dream. So I walked downstairs. And then when I walked downstairs, I see my grandmother. But not his mom, my mom's mom. Like, she was in the kitchen cooking or whatever. So he's still cussing at me or whatever. And it's like, but she never looked at me. So I looked back upstairs at him in the dream. And so then I start arguing back with him. And we literally start fighting. Like, we literally start fighting. And it's like, we break the window upstairs, the room window or whatever, And then, you fast forward, I ended up in the hospital the same day he died with pneumonia. And then when my mama was here earlier, she told me she had a dream about him a week ago. Now she takes dreams serious. She be trying to interpret dreams. With me, sometimes, to me they just dreams. They're not real a lot of times. I just let them go. But in her mind, she was like, that was him telling you something. He was telling you something was wrong then. Because I actually been sick for a couple of weeks. A little sicker than I usually am. And she was like, that was him telling you something, coming to you, telling you like, yo, get yourself up. You're supposed to go to the hospital. She was like, you just ain't see the sign. Now, you was like, you had dreams about people in the past, it could be a demon or whatever. So what do you think about that?
Well, I would ask you first, in the dream, what was the environment like? Like, what was the lighting? Like, was it bright? Was it darker? Was it kind of gray? Like, what was the lighting?
It was during the day. We was like, okay. we was just in the house during the day.
Okay, but everything looked totally normal, like you would on a regular, like a day. Okay. So I'd ask you first, did you ever had any problems with your dad in the past?
Yeah, it was times when our relationship was rocky, but I love my dad dearly, but we definitely had rocky times.
Can you say that genuinely you've forgiven your dad? Like, do you
say
think
that
that
again?
There might be some? Do you think that you've totally forgiven your dad, or do you think that there might still be some seeds of bitterness towards your dad in your heart?
Probably for some things. Could be.
Okay. Because I've had almost identical dreams like what you've had, not only with my father but with other people that I've had a problem with, and I know what those dreams like. What I get what your mom was saying, and I think there's some truth to that, but I think there's a deeper thing in there. And again, this is the same reason why I asked the sister on the line if she was a Christian, but there's a big thing in the Bible that talks about how if you don't forgive people, that God won't forgive you, and it talks about having a bitterness towards people in your heart. And when you still have some unforgiveness towards someone, you can get those type of dreams, and they can be warnings from God to tell you that you still need to forgive that person. Because, I don't know if you believe in God or believe in the Bible, but according to Jesus, if you do not forgive people, then God won't forgive you, and you're going to go to hell. So that might be a warning from God saying, look, you need to forgive your dad for whatever, and you still maybe have some bitterness towards him that you haven't let go of yet.
Okay. Now that actually makes sense to me. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes it's always weird when you look at things, like, 'cause you don't, like, when you have, like, and that's why I like to share stuff like dreams and, stuff like that I talk to people about, because you never know when, like, some people are very, I remember, I forget one dream I had, and I talked to my coworker about it, and the way she understood the dream completely different than what I did. And it because I was so confused. And then when she explained it to, she was an older woman, and when I was talking to her, because she's my coworker, I love her, and she used to she used to break it down. If I had a weird dream and I would share it with her, she would break it down to some type of situation where I wouldn't even think of that, but it made sense,
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's always good to bounce that off of people, because you just never know. But I do believe that I always like you said, your mom looks up her dreams and stuff. Like I said in earlier when I was talking on the show, I feel like when it's something that sticks out to me, like it's a dream, like not with anybody else in it, and it's a personal dream within me, and it's like something that happens in a dream or something that really sticks out to me, I like to look it up and see just what. Like, I'm not a hardcore because it's written down somewhere on the internet that it's the gospel books, but I just want to see, how they interpret it, and then try to see if it's resonates with what's going on with me at that particular time. Because you just never know. People get hung up on the certain things, but I always whatever stuck out the most in that dream. That's what I look for, to see what could possibly mean, and see if I can understand it or why I had that dream. I keep having recently I had a dream that was a dream with rodents in it, and I haven't looked it up, but I just kept having a dream of I don't know why, but it's just rodents. And I know I got a lot going on currently in my life. I kind of and I never really looked up, but I'm I wonder if that's going to be something that resonates with what's going on with me currently. Or is it something that I need, or it's a warning sign or something like that? Because who has a dream like that? I don't know why, but I did.
You said rodents?
Yeah, in the dream I kept seeing mice.
And what were they doing? Were they just running around on the ground, or were they doing anything?
They were moving around, but I had in wherever I was, there was a lot of cats. So they were they would grab them up, and then even though they were grabbing them up, it was so many of them, it was just ridiculous. But for whatever reason, I wasn't scared. I was fascinated by it, which normally, if anybody knows me, knows I'm terrified of mice.
Like the brother said, were they in your house?
Or? Yeah.
Huh?
Were you home?
I wasn't in my house. I was in a house, but it wasn't mine.
Interesting.
Yeah. Have you had that dream frequently, or was it a one-time thing?
No, it was just recent, and I don't even know. Like I said, I've never had a dream like that ever. And everybody knows me. I'm terrified of them things. I don't play with them. I don't want to see them. I don't care if they're alive, dead. I don't want to be around them at all. They terrify me.
And what did they look like? Like normal rats or mouse, or was there something different about them?
Yeah, they like normal mouse.
Okay, well, I don't
they just was doing what they normally do, just moving all around.
Now, I was once told, like, sometimes, you know, I have, like, these dreams where I want to say they're not the same dream because I'm always in a different place, but, like, I'm doing the same thing. And it's weird. It's kind of funny to me. But, like, for some reason in my dreams, like, I'd be running and I could jump. Like, I could jump real high. And then, like, sometimes I'd be jumping from buildings to buildings. And then sometimes I'd jump off. But every time when I jump off a building, like, I go into a cannonball and land. Like, me going into the cannonball makes me fall slow. For whatever reason. And then I land. Boom. And then usually, like, it'll switch to, you know, my dreams it'll never stay in that scene. It'll switch to something else that, you know, I rarely remember. But I always have, you know, it doesn't happen like every week, you know what I mean? Like every couple months. You know, same thing. I'm running, I'm jumping. You feel me? First I'm just running, then I start like jumping, and the next thing you know I'm jumping over houses, jumping on buildings, and then I go to the cannonball, and I fall to the ground, boom, and then like now it's like a whole nother dream. Something else happens, and like I can't remember that part, but I always remember the running and the jumping.
Well, it's crazy because I looked up jumping on the website that I look up, my little dreams, and it says to dream that you are jumping indicates that you need to take a risk and go for it. You will overcome your obstacles and find your progression towards the goals. Consider the metaphor jumping for joy to mean a thrill or excitement, or jumping a gun that means impatience and impulsiveness. The way you feel in the dream will provide additional significance, meaning and meaning to your dream. That's what it says for jumping. I haven't looked up running, but I don't know if that's true, but that's what this says. Like it could be something different.
In the beginning, when I first started having these dreams, doing that, and it's been years, I was nervous. Now, it's more of like a thrill thing. Like in a dream, at first I was nervous doing it, and it was shocking. Or should I say I was surprised or shocked. But then, as I got older, now it seems more of like thrill-seeking, exhilarating. Like I got used to it. Like I mastered it, so to speak.
Yeah, but and then when I look up running, it says to dream that you are running alone. So you're by yourself, right? When you're running?
Yeah, I'm always by myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So it says to dream that you are alone refers to your determination and motivation in the pursuit of your goals. You will find success and raise above those around you. Alternatively, the dream may mean that you need to hurry up and make a decision. See, like that type of stuff, like I said, when it sticks out to you, like those significant things, I look it up to see. And like I said, it may be true, it may not be true. But just off of knowing you, I think yeah.
What you was about to say though? From knowing what? Yeah.
I said from knowing you, I feel like it's true. Like it resonates with you because I know you're always motivated. You're always like just you have that determination about you. And you always motivated to do better. So for me, knowing you and not really seeing a dream for myself, I feel like it does ring true because I know you and I know you always motivated. You're determined to do whatever you're doing. You're determined to accomplish it and make it to that goal that you set for yourself. Like even with your, like you said, you started working out, so like you're trying to better yourself. So that's your goal. Like with your blogging and like all that stuff like that, I feel like it's true. So, and I think you take risks and do all that.
Okay.
I think we lost the caller too. Damn it. Did we get him back? Let me see. I gotta refresh this. Oh, we got him back. Hold on, Clint. Caller, is it David, right? I said it right this time. Did I get the name right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. All right, we got you back on.
Did you hear me describe the dreams I was having? Recurring?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I just dropped off for a second. I just lost my signal. Yeah, I heard it. So.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. That might just be a normal dream, you know, because it might. Sometimes you have dreams that don't really have a meaning to it. It's just something that you like doing, like you said. At first, you did something you were nervous about, but over time it became something you enjoyed doing. So it just me, you just having just a regular, you know, dream that you just have.
Okay. Okay. I can see that too, because that's how I am when it comes to dreams. Like, I never really, you know, because I've read somewhere that sometimes dreams, you know what I mean, they're just dreams. They really don't have no meaning. They really don't mean nothing. And then sometimes they could just be, you know, it could be your subconscious. You feel me? Trying to tell you something. You know, it's like it's so many different ways that they can be interpreted or not interpreted, so to speak. You know, it just, you feel me? Your imagination running amok.
Right. Like, do you like the movies like Spider-Man or Iron Man or the Black Panther, stuff like that?
Yeah, I like movies like that.
Yeah, it might be that.
Yeah, just me thinking I'm a superhero or wanting powers. You know, yeah, I can dig that as well. Because I was watching, I like to watch like the Sonny watching too, Criminal Minds. Big, I like Criminal Minds. I like stuff like MacGyver. I like stuff like all them type shows, CSI, NCIS, all them type shows. And I know sometimes I may have dreams when I'm doing stuff like that, when I'm in character like that. You feel me? And I know when I had dreams like that, that's just because I'm watching them shows consistently. Sometimes it be happening after I binge watch them.
Right.
Sonny, you ever had them dreams like that?
Like what now?
Like that? Like you in character. Like you watch Criminal Minds a lot. You watch SVU. You don't never had dreams like that?
Like that, no. My dreams are always like either ridiculously stupid that don't make sense, or like dreams that stand out, or like the dreams that I'm normally used to have. I've never had a dream where I'm like in a character or anything like that.
Okay.
And it's crazy because as long as I remember, I always remember my dreams.
I never remember all my dreams. I never remember. Some of my dreams, honestly, like you said, be so ridiculous and asinine that sometimes I wake myself up sometimes out of them just to go back to sleep. Like, why am I even dreaming about this nonsense? Like, that happens to me quite often as well. Like, man, I don't know. Like, why am I even having this dream? Makes no sense. Yeah, like, and then this is really what I wanted to ask y'all. You know, like I said, I be having vivid dreams, and sometimes there be a lot of people in my dreams. My question is, where do these people come from? Because like a lot of them times I don't know these people in real life, but they like be like real people, real face, real described, like people I know, like I would know.
See, I hate dreams like where somebody that I'm supposed to know, but I can't see their face.
But yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
like, I know this person, but I can't see their face. Who is it?
So you were saying, brother, in your dream you were talking about, so the people then, you didn't know them, but they knew you?
Yeah, they don't know, I don't know them, but they know me, and it's like, they're vivid. It's like, you feel me, like they real people, like
Right.
Like, I've encountered them before, but, like, I don't know these people.
Well, did they talk to you?
Yeah, I be having full-blown conversations with them.
What are the things you guys talk about?
It depends on sometimes what it, like, it'll be silly or, like, whatever. You know, if I'm having a dream and we're playing basketball, we'll be talking about basketball or whatever. It's like, it's never the same thing, but I'll be like, yo, I don't know this person. I was this person in my dream. Like, who is this person? How did my mind create this person that I've never seen before? Like, how did I draw him out in my mind? Or her?
Or maybe they came into your dream. It's not something that your mind created.
So you say that again now for me?
Yeah, maybe it's not something that your mind created, but it's an actual being that entered your dream and is interacting with you in your mind while you're dreaming. Remember how we talked about that spirit that kind of shows up in that black shadow spirit? That thing can transfigure to different things. Like its normal state, you remember how we described that black shadowy figure? That's its normal state. But it can change. And they can come into your dreams and they can talk to you in your dreams. That's what demons are. I mean, the Bible also calls them familiar spirits. Meaning by that they are around you your whole life, so they know you intimately. Like they know details about you. And that's why I brought up the thing about near-death experiences, because a lot of people who like were clinically dead or they were gone for, a day or an hour or something, they talk about meeting their relatives or people that they knew or just having people meet them, right?
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is these people would meet them. There was one guy in particular, his name was Howard Storm. And he was an atheist at the time. He had passed. He had like a serious heart attack, and he was clinically dead. They said in the hospital for like 2 days. And what he described was his spirit left his body from the hospital room, and he was standing up, and you could actually see his body laying on in the bed in the hospital. And he said beings came into the room, and he thought that they were like nurses and doctors. They look like regular people, and they told him, come with us. Here, we're gonna take you somewhere that you need to be. And so he described walking with them. They left the hospital room and they started walking down this big hallway. And he said at first they were really nice to him, right? They were really polite and they were really kind to him and everything. But he said as they continued to walk further and further down this big long hallway, he said they started to get more mean and more aggressive, and they started to insult him, and they started to push him around, and then they were telling him to hurry up. And then eventually they got into this big, empty, dark space, and he got to a point where he told them, I'm not going forward anymore with you guys. I'm not going anymore. I'm stopping. And then that's when he said they changed. And they stopped looking like people, and they started looking like demons. And they jumped on him and was ripping his body apart and, like, doing all type of crazy things to him. And I've seen a lot of people with this encounter. Another guy had the same thing, where he said he got to go to hell. And in hell, there was like these individual, it's almost like prison cells, but it's not a prison cell like it's like an alternate universe within that cell, like a place. So like he described how people would go there and they would imagine like they're in places that they remember, like their grandma's house or some favorite place they used to go to. And he said the demons would enter these prison cells and they would appear like their family members or people they knew, and they would pretend a certain thing. And so he described one lady in particular. He said this lady went in her box, what she was seeing was she was visiting her grandmother's house. So she went up to her grandma's house. She saw her grandmother. Her grandmother told her, oh, I'm baking you some cookies, like she used to tell her. She told her, go sit by the lake and I'll bring them out to you. And then she described her, he saw her sit down by the lake. And she looked at the water and she tried to touch the water, but she wasn't getting wet. And that's when she was like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, the trees around her started to latch out and grab her. And then the trees turned into demons. And then her grandmother turned into a demon. And then they were torturing her and doing that. So what you have to understand is these demons, they're vindictive. And they like to come up with creative ways of torturing people. And they love nothing more than, they love the thing of like luring you into thinking you're into some good place or you're in heaven or you're with your family members. And then they'll like spring on you. And they love that feeling of that sudden fear and shock you have. They get off to that. That's something that they enjoy. It's similar to like when you had that spirit encounter in your room. When you have that sleep paralysis, you get that fear hits you. The demons they like that fear. That's why they do those things. They enjoy it because you have to understand in their nature because they hate God and they see you're in the image of God, so they take out their hatred towards God on people. And so that's why they do all these things. And that's why I keep telling, I try to warn people, if you have beings showing up to you, if you're having encounters with people that are claiming to be your, loved ones and stuff like that, you need to pray. Those are demons starting to come around you and do things. And I'm telling you, I was an atheist most of my life. I only became a Christian recently. I didn't believe any of this stuff before until I had an encounter with the Lord and started dealing with demons and had all type of stuff happen and dealing with psychics and witches trying to attack me, doing all that. I had no idea the spiritual world existed. And I'm telling you, man, it's a lot scarier than you think it is. And people got to be careful what you mess around with. Because
I definitely believe in that spiritual world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely believe. Because to be quite honest, I feel like we're all spiritual beings. The body is just flesh. You understand? So, we aren't our bodies. That's why I feel like, you feel me, that they're just our homes. Like we're just housed in these bodies. You know what I mean? Who we are is our spirit or whatever. It's deeper than that, but that's just like how I see it. So I definitely believe in the spirit world. So if you believe in the spirit world and you believe in good, it's always a good and a bad. You understand? And that's why when I tell people, like you said, you asking about when you talk about Christianity, if you can't believe in God and all His blessings without knowing that there's demons and evil out there as well, and how they move and how they, it's the yin and the yang. It's always a good and a bad. It has to be a balance. Everything is a balance. So I agree with you when you say, like, you have to pay attention. You have to watch out for those things. And what you feed your mind, because if you go into that place, if you go into that dark place where them demons be at and how they operate, it can get real ugly.
Yeah. It's crazy, though, because I'm going to say this before we wrap the show. It's not really a dream, but it's for earlier in my I grew up in church, and I was like hardcore in church every day, all day, like it was everything to me. I was in church all the time until I grew up, and I remember one day I was in church and we had this day where it's kind of like they basically you're trying. Well, I don't know if it wasn't that. It was like a regular Sunday, and you know how you go up to the prayer line and stuff like that. You get prayer. So I got to the prayer line, and I don't know how familiar you are with tarrying. So you get up to ask for prayer, and the preacher tells you to say Jesus. So you say Jesus, and then eventually it becomes like repetitive. So it's called tarrying. You just keep saying Jesus, 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 Jesus. And then eventually you start, like, if you get into the spirit, you start speaking in tongues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one day I got up in prayer line. I was just having a bad day that day, and I was like, I'm gonna get up in prayer line. I need me some prayer. And I wasn't even thinking in that mindset, but I got in the prayer line, and they told me to say Jesus. I said Jesus, and then I got into the tarrying thing. And in the midst of that, I'm gonna tell you something. And I told my sister's godmom, she's a church mom, she was a church mother in the church that day. And I said to her, I was up there tarrying, and it was like I had an outer body experience, but I knew it wasn't me, but it was me. And it was like, yo, you look so dumb up here doing that. If you don't stop, look how dumb you look. And I stopped because it was me talking to myself. And I stopped, and she asked me, she looked at me funny because of how it happened. And then she looked at me and she said, I'm going to talk to you later. So when we had that conversation later, and I said that to her, she said, that ain't nothing but the devil. Because he knew that God was with you. And he was like, nope. And it's weird because it happened in church. Like, what? It happened, and I was like, I always remember that because she, like, when she sat and talked to me, we had like a really frank conversation. And she's like, dang, that wasn't nothing but the devil. And I said, but it looked just like me. Like, I literally saw myself talking to myself.
Well, that could also be the Lord showing you what you're doing wasn't right. And Jesus talked about this. He talked about how when people pray, they use vain repetitions, thinking that this is how you get all the God's attention. But that's not how you do it, right? God doesn't want you to just repeat some ritualistic prayer and that's how you connect with Him. That's not. God's a being like you and me. What God looks at your heart. So the Bible talks about if you want to be close to God, Jesus said, do not be like the pagans who use vain repetitions, who think that because of their many prayers, God will hear them. But He said, rather, go to your room, close your door, and pray to your Father in secret. And what God wants from you is that deep heart cry prayer from your heart, where you seek Him genuinely. And you speak to Him like you're speaking to a person, because you're having a conversation. And when it's from your heart and it's genuine, God sees it if it comes from a genuine place of humility. And if that's the case, God will reveal Himself to you and He'll empower you. Because if you think you're in the Spirit, the Spirit is called the Holy Spirit. If it doesn't lead you to living holy, that's not the Spirit of God. That's another spirit. That could be the Kundalini spirit that unfortunately a lot of Pentecostal churches are operating under. They're not even aware of it. When they see them shaking and going all crazy and rolling around on the ground and doing all that kind of nonsense, that's called the Kundalini spirit. That's not the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, when it comes on you, is going to do one thing to you. The first thing it's going to do is going to convict you. That every sinful thing you're doing in your life will come on you. You'll feel a weight of guilt that'll hit you like a ton of bricks. And that conviction will not leave you until you repent. That's what Jesus said. He said the Holy Spirit will come to you and He's going to convict you of sin, righteousness, and judgment. That's the first thing the Spirit does to you. Because the Spirit knows unless you repent and truly turn your life to the Lord, you cannot have a relationship with God. So the Spirit is there to get you in a place where you can start to have that relationship with the Lord and be able to be close to Him in an intimate way and let the Spirit fully dwell within you. But if you're living in sin and all kind of stuff, God will be afar from you. He won't even be close to you. And the demons know that because everything in the spiritual world operates under an authority and a system. The demons, they have their hierarchies, they have their systems, they have their order, and they only respect and are afraid of people who have the seal of God and people who actually belong to the Lord. And that's a small number of people. Most of the people you see in church, they don't know the Lord. They're living like a hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly.
The demons know that. That's why the demons, a lot of the demons, they live in churches. They control the pastors. You know the people you need to find is if you got one of those older women, like an old grandma or an aunt or a mom that you know is a God-fearing person, who you know they don't live like a hypocrite. They actually practice what they preach. They really pray. They really read the Word. They really fast. You know that they seek God. You know they're genuine. You know they're not out there cussing. You know they're not out there sleeping around. Those are the people who have that genuine relationship with God. They have the real spiritual power. They're the ones that have the real Holy Spirit that the demons are terrified of. Those people, the demons are so afraid of them. They shake when they get around them because they have the Holy Spirit, the real Holy Spirit. Because if you have the real Holy Spirit, the demons submit to you because they're afraid of God more than you can imagine. You know, the Bible says, oh, you believe in God, you do well, but even the demons believe in God and they shake when they think of Him because they know what God does. You know, God isn't this teddy bear that people make Him out to be. Jesus said Himself, He said, don't fear the one that can kill the body and do nothing more. Rather fear Him who after He's killed your body can cast your soul into hell. And that's what God's going to do to the demons. They know they're going to get punished, and they know exactly what's going to happen. That's why they're afraid. But human beings, unfortunately, they're not afraid of God because they don't think God's going to punish them. And because you don't fear God, that's why a lot of Christians are such hypocrites, because they don't fear the Lord. They've been taught since they were a little kid that God loves you no matter what, and all you got to do is say you believe in Jesus and you're going to go to heaven. That's a lie. If you believe that, you have been lied to. That's why there's so many hypocrites in the church. We got to wrap the show because
it's about to hang up on us. So
okay.
I apologize for interrupting you, David, but we definitely got to wrap. We got a couple seconds. So thank you guys for listening tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for calling in, Dave. Thank you for the other callers that have called in. Clint, you want to give out your info real quick?
Yeah, I just want to thank the brother for calling, giving his insight, great insight. Thank you, David. I know y'all can hit my blog, kingstruth.com. Hit me on Twitter @eTrentonGrooming.
All right, and y'all can hit me. I am Sunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Check my blog out on reservedlyme.com. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight.